Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone and everything in between. It's been a minute and a half since last episode. The crew this month had a little bit of their own March Madness to deal with, but I am pleased to say that the crypto enthusiasts, pseudo-investment gurus, existential, universal through-a-lens philosophers, tech connoisseurs, engineer and program-loving, dynamic duo who love to just chill and talk about life and stuff. The guys who work hard and play harder, and your hosts of the best Stay Positive podcasts out there, in my humble opinion, have returned. Hello everyone, I'm Alex.
That was amazing. I don't know how you just came up with that off the top of your head. You probably didn't, but I loved it. I'm also Pete, by the way.
And we're not alone. We have a lovely person amongst us. What do you go by, good sir?
My name is Robby. I hail from the fine village of Philadelphia, and it is an honor to be here with you today, boys.
It's an honor to have you. So, how's life and stuff for you? Because we're pretty busy.
Yeah, we've had a rough last couple of weeks, but I gotta say it was definitely worth going through it because now we're back and we're excited to do the things, you know, like the thing we're doing.
It's a thing. I like the March Madness pun in the intro. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I laughed. Yeah, that was pretty good.
I try really hard.
All right, Robby. So I hit you up like last night saying, what do you want to talk about today?
You did.
And you gave me 35 different topics.
I did do that. Yeah, I tended. Well, because, you never know. If one of them was going to be boring or something, you wouldn't want to talk about that necessarily. Yeah. So I gave you some options.
Okay.
Some. That was some, Pete.
Quantity over quality always.
If you
I
say
suppose
so.
It depends on the situation.
Huh?
It depends on the situation.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Name a situation and where quality is more important.
Sports?
Yeah, but more sports. Sports is like the quintessential. That's sport. Sport is more. Like, I can do more than you can do, which is why I'm better.
You're trying to quantify something that is a quality.
Listen. I'm a comm major. So.
He also goes to BU with us, or with me, formerly Alex.
Yeah. For the people that can't see us, which is everyone, Pete and I are in the same room, and we're staring at Alex's beautiful yellow shirt, along with his even more beautiful face.
Thank you.
On FaceTime. Do you play tennis as well, then?
I do. I'm out of shape, but I'm getting back into shape.
Who could win? At both of your primes, who wins in tennis?
I think both of us at our best, I think
Yes.
It would be even, but P would win. But, we'll see this summer when I'm back in shape. I'll give you an update.
I have nothing to say. He said it for me.
I mean, you could say, say I'm not telling the truth.
No, it's not my place to put words in your mouth.
It's your place to put your own words in your mouth, P. That's what your mouth is for.
Well, amongst. Sorry.
Anyways, so
I like pudding. Never mind.
So tell me, what is you mentioned a lot of things about communication theory.
I did mention some things about communication
especially because
theory.
we're like communicating right now.
As we are gathered here today, words bespoke.
Yeah.
You know, the interesting thing about communication is it's not a series of inputs and outputs because it's like it's like Bitcoins, right?
Oh my
Ever heard of them?
A little bit.
Yeah, I could tell you a few things because I consider myself an expert. I can't. That's a lot. But I am familiar enough to understand how the hashing algorithm works. And think of communication in the same way, right? When I speak, it's not as simple as you hearing words and then understanding. There's a lot that goes on in between because really all this is sound waves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a collection of sounds and you need to hear those and understand them as the same sounds I'm trying to make. And that's before you can even understand the content of the message.
Okay, so then I guess what you're trying to get at is that communication is more of a key and value pairing?
That's already over my head.
Because that's how Bitcoin works, right?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like communication is just like it's just this art of making someone understand something. So I could literally point to something, and that's communicating, look over there, or something's over there. That's without words at all.
Did you know that up to 70% of communication is nonverbal between humans interacting?
I didn't know there was a number for it. For me, it's more like 99.9% since I don't like talking to people. But
well, when you gave me the eyes when I first picked up the phone, see, I felt the connection.
Yeah, you read me. You see, there was communication without we had something. You know, we had a bond immediately made.
I felt it.
You felt it.
And then we shared tuna crackers.
It's true, over the
Together.
phone somehow, 500 miles away or something.
Soldier Boy style.
Okay, so how does someone measure 70% of communication being nonverbal?
It's actually pretty cool. They did a whole study, and the researchers had targeted messages that they wanted the receivers to pick up on. Think about, it's not the words, like you're not like, I'm not looking at you and you're thinking book. It's like body language, it's emotions. Think about the difference between talking to somebody like we're doing or texting somebody. And think about how many things are miscommunicated over text.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's totally true.
It's because all of the communication, the non-verbal communication is missing over text.
Huh. That's totally true. Language.
That's why I always write, yeah. I'm joking after when I'm joking. Cause,
you have
I'm
to.
Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if people will take my quote-unquote sense of humor at face value or understand I'm not serious. So I always make a clarification. It's like, I'm not serious. Please don't take this out of context.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes.
I almost wish we had a key on the keyboard to push the button. And that means that everything that came before that was sarcasm. You know what I mean? We have periods to end sentences. We have question marks to know questions. We need a punctuation mark that denotes sarcasm, I think.
Oh, I think that'd actually be really helpful because I use sarcasm a lot. Way too much.
You do?
Yeah.
That was sarcasm.
No.
This is This is like asking a child if they're tired. There's no right answer. Are you being sarcastic?
I guess you just have to find out eventually.
How do you convey to someone that you are being sarcastic?
That's tonal.
Yeah,
right?
Usually, I can't tell if it's just because my voice is relatively monotone, because even when I was exaggerating my sarcasm in high school, people would think I was being literal. There was a time I said, I put my head through, or no, someone said that I put my head through a mail slot, which is 2 inches wide, and my head is bigger than 2 inches. And someone said I put my head through that. And people went up to me. It's did you really put your head through the mail slot? I'm like, oh yeah, of course I put my head in the mail slot. And there's really? I'm like, oh, come on. It's no, I didn't. I did not, that awkward, no, I have to explain the joke.
You should have just gone with it. Yes, I did. Would you like to see it again? And then I'll do it with your head this time.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Do you know? But they did tape up that mail slot ever since then. That's an irrelevant story, so
What were you trying to put in the mail slot?
So the story was I was looking for a teacher, right? And I was literally, it was lunch period, and I was running all over the school trying to find this teacher, and I couldn't find it. And there was this one room that I was like, okay, I checked everywhere else. This is the last place I can think that she would be in. And the door was locked, and I knocked, and no one showed up. But there's a mail slot conveniently there, so I just kind of lifted it up, and I'm like, hello, and she was there.
So you poked your head through. I mean, I could see that as an expression.
I mean, but not at literal, they were thinking, did you really slot your head through the slot? And I'm like, no, I didn't put my head through the mail slot. I literally just lifted it up and looked through.
You could have like Shining styled like here's Johnny.
I could have,
Oh my
but the
gosh.
teacher did freak out. She was like, "Alex, what are you doing?" And I'm just like, "Oh, hi, Mrs. So and So. I was looking for you. I need you."
I was just checking this mail slot out to see if I could fit my head through it. Someone told me I probably couldn't, but I want to prove them wrong.
What is this? What is that show? The Daredevil show where they just do stupid stuff like jump off the
Jackass?
roof?
The Crown?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Wow, that's a big throwback. But
Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Thank fucking God. Okay. I've been watching my mouth. I've been watching my mouth.
Yeah,
Suitable for all ages.
It's totally on you. Like whatever.
What
you want to do, how
this
you wanna
is
portray
not
yourself.
related to anything you've said, but like, why is swearing such a big deal?
That's a great question too. You have probably some thoughts on it.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I don't have any. I'm actually curious, like he is. I don't know why swearing is such a like frowned upon thing.
What are your thoughts on swearing? Why is it a big deal?
Yeah. I wanted to ask, like, oh, did Pete tell you I don't swear?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he doesn't.
You
at
like
all.
never swear.
I'm like the
No, I have,
cardinal
but
opposite.
it's usually reserved for like genuine fits of rage where I'm like actually like 110% angry. And I'll like mutter it to myself, but like it'll be audible, so technically that counts.
I guess, yeah, that does count. You know, that's actually, it's good. That means you have a good vocabulary. Because that's what swearing is. Swearing is when you can't think of a better word. Think about swear words. They're all short. They end in hard sounds with the mouth. Good for
They're
speaking
catchy.
at loud volumes. They make
They're
sense.
catchy.
Fuck! You know what I mean? Like, it just feels good.
But they're catchy though.
They are catchy. And, well, they're also really easy to remember.
Yeah, that's true.
Think, you speak Romanian, sir?
A little bit, yeah.
Do you know any Romanian curse words?
I feel like I do, but I never registered because English is my fluent language. So
That makes sense.
it's so much easier to curse in a not. For me, like I've cursed in foreign languages like out loud with no problem, with no guilt at all, because it's just like, to me it's like that's not my language, so I don't care.
He's shamelessly cursing in Spanish, basically. I've seen it in
not
action.
just Spanish, not Spanish, but I'm curious what, like, because I don't swear because in my opinion there's no need for it, but at the same time I'm completely tolerant towards other people doing it because I'm like, who cares? But for me personally, it's more like not a test per se, but if you swear every other word, it kind of cheapens it a little bit. It's like that becomes your speech now. That's the way you talk. And to me, that sounds relatively uneducated. Like, that sounds like you couldn't say anything better. That's like the best you've got. I know that's not true because all my friends swear. I haven't had a friend who doesn't swear, but it's just, I don't know. It's a self-imposed limitation for me. It's like I don't need to swear to calm down or to communicate.
I kind of like that. Because it makes you more purposeful in your thought. You know what I mean? You're thinking about what you're gonna. It's like trying to get rid of verbal tics from your speech. It makes you more conscious. You end up saying what you mean more.
Yeah. You ever have any verbal tics?
Oh sure. Yeah, a few of them.
The like, of course, everyone has.
Verbal
those.
tics can present themselves in a multitude of different ways. It really just could be short phrase or a couple words that you say a lot. Like or like Doug and I have one together. They can be personal too. Doug and I talk a lot. We always say, "Oh sure." Same thing with Ben. And there's a few verbal tics that go on in this house that like you'd only pick up on if you hear them all the fucking time. Sorry, a little bit.
But I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I feel that's just like routine. That's just how you like get along with each other. Because you said you do that in your house, but you probably don't do it a lot outside the house. So,
but what ends up happening, I feel like, with the verbal tics is that when you use them too much, you end up using these once funny phrases in ways that it doesn't really apply, just to get a cheap, quick response out.
Oh yeah, it's like a buffer word. The way I like to think of it.
About what you actually want to say.
Yeah, you can't actually say what you're trying to say, so you need to fill the silence almost.
What are yours?
like sometimes, sometimes. Other than that, nothing. I actually really try to break the like and habit very hard. I'm so conscious of it. It's absurd.
I think that's good. Purposeful communication is key. Always. Yeah. Always.
The look you just gave me.
Always.
This is the 70% rule right here.
Yeah, I took a course about how to improve your communication, and the professor basically said we all have tics, and while they're like habitual, they are borderline second nature. He said that you should try exercising, like the next time you want to do a tic, you want to come with a thought, you should try and just like pause, like literally stop talking and think about what you're going to say. And it's going to be awkward and it's going to suck and you're going to feel like silly. But if you keep doing that, eventually you will grow into the habit of not resorting to a tic, and the pauses will get shorter and shorter.
What else did you learn in your communication class?
The communication was about like presenting and public speaking. So there were rules, like rule of 3, to use like 3 examples when you're trying to communicate a point. The rule of pause, where you should take respectable pauses when you speak rather than just make it a non-stop sentence. What else? There were like 10 of them, but I forgot all of them.
How'd you do in the class?
It was just a seminar, so
So it wasn't really
I passed it because that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I'm in a pass-fail class right now. I just did that today. Last day, Pete. If you want to do that. It's pretty nice, though. I will not be going anymore. So.
Okay, so another thing you mentioned to me. This is a thick boy. This is okay. What is?
Oh, I see it. You have it up on your thing.
Yeah. What is persuasion theory?
Persuasion theory. That's a class I'm taking pass-fail, actually.
So maybe I shouldn't ask you about it.
You caught me at a good time, because up until this point, I have been going. Persuasion theory, in a communication sense, is the study of how to effectively communicate with targeted audiences.
Okay.
So when you talk to people, it's nice. Like, think about it in the context of advertising. It would be really good to be able to craft messages that get people to buy the thing that they don't need, that you're trying to get them to buy. And that's what we're learning about in persuasion theory. How do you persuade people to do what you want to do? It's changing attitudes, beliefs, and then which leads to behavioral change. And this is a field of science, which is why I get a Bachelor of Science degree when I graduate, and you're stuck with a Bachelor of Arts.
Me? You're looking at me?
Yeah. Are you? What are you?
He's an engineer.
No, I'm getting a BS also.
Engineers get BSs?
Yeah.
That's pretty
nice.
nice.
At least here.
Huh?
At least here.
Yeah, I heard like somebody like Adam, one of our freshmen on the track team, he's going to be like a double math major and he's getting a BA, which is really funny to me because
I don't know, man.
Who's to say?
It's funny that you bring up advertising, because I had like a hypothetical question that's been like in my head for like weeks. What would the world be if advertising ceased to exist?
It would
like
worse.
Like, it would like completely illegal. Like, you're not allowed to, have influencers. You're not allowed to have advertisements on between like Super Bowls or stuff. You just have like people make their products and people can review them, but they can't advertise. They can't say buy this because it's really good. They can say I had a good experience with this, but because I feel like advertisements can sometimes be misleading or be, like you say, trying to persuade you into thinking it's good, but it might not be good. You know what I'm saying? So it's turned into kind of this game of less about being good and more about convincing the consumer that we're good.
That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think the first thing you'd see is life would become a lot more expensive for you without advertising, because you'd have to pay for all of these services that you now use for free. Social media, I'm thinking of first. They're only free because they can advertise to you. Same thing with like Gmail.
I know, but they're also like kind of unfiltered when it comes to quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are.
To be polite, to be nice, I'm hinting towards a certain social media in particular. Pete knows what it is.
What is it?
It has a bird symbol on it.
Big fan of Twitter.
You're a big bird Twitter? I like that.
Yeah. It's pretty unfiltered, I'd say.
Twitter is very unfiltered, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without advertising, you'd probably see more public relations, honestly.
How so?
Well, because they kind of have like this symbiotic relationship a little bit. Advertising is... Do you know, what if I told you that there is a way that tomorrow you could get a message, a whole article in the New York Times, and they would say exactly what you wanted to say, and they would say exactly how you wanted to say it. You could even choose a picture that goes along with it, and you could tell everybody exactly what you want to tell them. It's called advertising. Huh. So that's what you use it for. But then there's people like on the other side of the aisle that do the exact same thing, but they don't pay for it. And that's called public relations. So, I mean, okay.
That's horrible. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's and that public relations is the business of networking and knowing people who sit in the right chairs to get them to act as as like a megahorn for you and your messaging. And that's
a megaphone.
Yes, a megaphone. Public relations is like a huge free megaphone.
Wow.
I'm a little partial. I myself am a public relations.
Oh, so you can speak.
Specialist.
That's why speak with the negative connotation because you are literally one of those megaphone people.
I am one of those
creating megaphones of others, rather.
Flax, as they called us. Way back when.
What is that?
A flack? It stands for... I forget what it stands for. It's like a not nice word for somebody who works in PR. Akin to like spin doctor or something. FLACK. It came because in the beginning when people realized that like they could do this, they did not do it for good.
Like most things.
Yeah.
Why does that always happen?
It's like there's always like people do it for good and then other people see that they're doing it and they do the same thing but for evil, and I'm just like, come on. Like, this is why we can't have nice things in the world. It's because one person does it the nice way and then it gets really popular and then everyone does it again but worse.
Yeah, but just a little shittier the next time.
Yeah, basically.
I'm sure that happens in engineering too. Oh my god, in biotech, like medicines and stuff.
You ever heard of a pharmaceutical company?
No. Big Pharma? Do you know there's Big Milk? I'm sorry, I just love that. Because you always hear about like Big Pharma or like Big Tech, but then there's Big Milk. I swear to God, there's Big Milk.
I've never laughed at something so stupid before. Oh. Well,
they take it seriously, Pete. They need that money, that milk money. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
What is the whole
Big Milk?
Shut up. The whole meat industrial complex, is that what it's called?
Meat industrial, big meat.
I don't think
I've never heard of
what they would call it.
Yeah, probably you can't do that as well with meat. Speaking of big meat, never mind. I wouldn't know. Wait, no, I haven't. What is the meat industrial complex? I haven't heard of it.
Oh my
You're
God.
really good and bad at these double entendres, you know that.
He's making it so hard to focus, it's incredible.
You got this. Double entendre. And then I double up on ya. Yeah, it's French, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but do you know what it means? Like the definition?
Two meanings.
Okay.
Yes. Of a phrase.
Wait, so I got a real question.
Yes.
Can you tell me how to create an ad?
No, sorry.
How to create an ad to convince someone to buy something they don't need?
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that like the exercise is like sell me this pen? Like same kind of
But
thing.
that's more of a test of charisma, right? The Jordan Belfort, like, hey, can you sell me this? Like, tell me why you need this pen. Oh, this pen is the best in its class. You know, the ink is unbridled. It's unfiltered.
This is this is like the advertising equivalent of make an ad to convince you to buy something.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Alex, how would you like to sell Pete a pen and then I'll watch, and then afterwards I'll tell you how you could have sold it better from an advertising point of view.
Okay, do you want me to sell you a pen, Alex?
Sure, sell me a pen, Pete.
I don't have a pen.
He doesn't look like he's in the... All right, so step 1, you have to find out if he needs a pen.
No, yeah, of course. Okay, so
if he doesn't...
let's pretend like we're selling you this pen. So you don't have
How hard do I need to be, like, do I need to, like, treat this serious? Like,
No,
like a stranger trying to sell me?
I'm not actually selling you a pen. We're just going to pretend.
No, actually, where's a pen? Here, I have a pen in my desk, and I'll tell you about the pen. It's a cool pen. Pilot G2. When I was a kid in elementary school, this kid named Brendan Yu would use Pilot G2s, and I just thought they were the coolest. And Pete's going to sell it to you. And if you want it, he'll give it to you the next time he sees you. And you'll know that it's the same pen. It'll be cool. You'll be like, oh my God, April 2nd. I saw that on TV.
Okay, I know exactly what you're doing here. It doesn't matter what I say now because you've already done the deal.
No, I didn't mean to. I just wanted to say why it was a special pen to me. It's just, if you don't want the pen, you know.
Alex, tell me you saw what he just did there.
Yeah, no, I saw what he did, but unfortunately those tactics don't work on me.
If you don't want a pen, I'm not going to force feed you a pen.
You see, now he's doing the reverse psychology trick.
Do you want to... All right, are you in the market for a pen?
Now he's doing the blunt, straight up.
Listen.
Let me level with you kind of approach.
Can I level with you? Are we not? Can we be cordial?
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool. You can level with me.
Okay. Do you want the pen? Because this is if you don't want the pen, like this is really stupid. We should just stop.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I have a laptop. I don't really write stuff anymore, so I'm very sorry. I appreciate it, but no, thank you.
That's fine.
I don't need the pen.
That's fine. If you ever, and you know what? If you ever need a pen in the future, I'm your guy. Okay, I'll get you a pen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. Until I'll keep you in mind. And until next time, thank you so much for your time.
All right, now Pete, sell him the pen.
No. I mean, how would you advertise a pen that he doesn't need?
Ooh, okay. You mean like technically?
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah, like because
like
right
an
now,
Instagram post. Like, how do you make pens matter?
Yeah,
all right.
He's just made it abundantly clear he doesn't want this. So how are you going to get him to buy it?
So with pens, just like anything you're trying to sell, you need to first start with an FBO statement: first, best, or only. You need to be the first person to do something, or you need to tell me why it's the best, or you need to be the only one that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have one of those, chances are you're not selling a great product.
Okay.
So once you start with your FBO, let's say this is the Pilot G2 is the first ever black pen. All pens up until this point have written in red ink, and I have a pen that writes, so the tagline would be the first ever black pen, right? Which is absolutely true. It's not. All right. So then what you would do is you break that up into, now you have your first, best, only, and now you need your directed messaging concept. So you start with your A-level features of the pen, your B-level features of the pen, and your C-level features of the pen. So we think of 5 of each one of those, and we put all of this in a little folder that we compile. And then depending on who you're communicating to, you pick and choose those messages and just pretty much copy paste into the advertisement wherever you want. So like if you were a company and you wanted to send out a marketing email, you would send out a marketing email with A-level messages. Or you could say, go to our website if you want to find out more, and then you'd throw in some of your B's. You know what I mean? A-level messages are why you're buying the product. It's what the reasons that you want it. And then your B-level messages are like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, that's a cool plus. You know what I mean? Like transparency mode on the AirPods. You buy them because you need headphones. But transparency mode is like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? And then your C-level messages are like, it makes it better, but take it or leave it. You know, it's not. That makes sense.
That's honestly, I never had the technical words, but when I looked into like marketing for video games, they kind of said similar things where it's like, you don't just tell them what your game is, you highlight like key features that make your game unique and stand out amongst the rest, and then you describe like the rest of the game after you highlight the main features.
Oh yeah. And it's very, very important to know your audience. You can't communicate well unless you know who you're communicating with. So that has to do with, you can do market research to find out who wants pens. Like your name would probably not come up. Or if it's a video game, like do you want to make a video game for boys or girls? Like this is like if it's going to be a game that girls play, you have different messaging than if boys play it. If it's kids, teenagers, adults, all of these are different things. Are they going to live in the South? Are they going to live in the North? Are they going to be international? Is this going to be a worldwide release game? What type of game is it going to be? What are other games that are like this game? What are they saying? How do we say the same thing but better?
That's why like retro games do so well. It's because nobody makes those games anymore. So they're not necessarily the first, but they're kind of the only one available now as far as new retro games.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they do so well, is because they're there's no supply for it, but there is a nostalgia demand for it.
Nostalgia's powerful emotion, dude.
It is. Like, don't you ever just listen to a song and you just feel...
Oh my god,
yeah.
Wait, yeah, like the one by
Yes.
any Pitbull song ever.
Yeah, that's pretty relatable. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I just listen to those songs that you would hear on the radio when you're 7 years old. Like, you remember that song "Cry for You"?
Don't
stop.
That one? I didn't know this song. Which one is "Cry for You"? Sing it.
I'm not singing.
Please?
No.
Alright, speak it to me in monotone.
Just
Okay,
read
whatever.
the lyrics.
Because that'll be worse.
Like a bunch of just a bunch of songs that you used
What
to
type
hear.
Yeah,
of
like
songs?
old 2000
yeah.
songs.
Oh yeah, like between 2000 and 2010.
Baby Got
You
Back.
remember No. You remember Kesha?
Oh my god, every
Remember
morning.
TikTok?
Yeah. On the clock, but the party don't stop. No.
Yeah,
I
all
love
those songs.
that.
So how do you use nostalgia to advertise to people?
Nostalgias are really powerful. This is getting back into persuasion theory, because if you can elicit, if I studied a little bit more for this class, I would have such interesting things to tell you. Because there's actually been research done, and there are certain groups of people based on certain audience factors. Certain types of people will be more or less prone to nostalgia appeals. Certain people will be more prone to fear appeals. Certain people will be more prone to the "let me level with you" approach. And you can actually, that's why finding your target audience is so likely, because a lot of these have demographic biases, a lot of these appeal messages.
I see.
Like, women are actually more likely to respond to messages with empathy than men are. And men are more allowed to stick to abstract principles when using decision making.
This is interesting.
So
What are like the numbers on that? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
But it's a simple Google search away. But I have a real question for you.
Yes.
You like movies?
Yeah.
Disney, modern Disney. What's your take on this?
Am I allowed to say I kind of like it? I think they're trying to do a little bit too much. Like, I don't want Disney to own Pixar and Marvel and also have Disney. That kind of, what do you think?
Yeah, that too. They're becoming a monopoly. But I was more thinking about all these remakes and remasters and taking old stuff and doing it again, but in 3D or worse.
You can see with my nonverbal communication.
I can tell you're very enthralled by all the modern movies.
I just don't get it. Like, we don't need Snow White again. You know, it was good the first time.
Right? It was great the first time.
It was. One could even say it was like the best the first time, and the second time, it's not as good. Nope. It's no longer the first.
But it's just like it sends me the message that they don't have anything good. Like, they don't have any creative ideas, or they're either that or they're trying to bank on nostalgia, like you said.
They could be.
That's a great
But
point.
That is a really good point.
I have a hypothetical. Wouldn't it make more, like, if they release these movies? I mean, because Disney Plus exists, so that's not really feasible anymore. But like, if movie theaters were the thing and they released like the original Lion King back in theaters, don't you think like that would have sold like $1 billion again if they did that again?
Live action Lion King was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that
one was
that
kind
was
of
a bad
cool.
example, but because that one was okay. I still
But-
prefer the 2D one.
I still do prefer. I think I prefer 2D as well. But I think that it would do very well if they released it again. To answer the original question, Yeah, I think so. They do that sometimes. They do that with records a lot, don't they?
Re-releases.
Yeah, like on a 50th anniversary album.
Oh yeah, always. They
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, that's really
Or something like that. But I guess maybe there's a reason that they haven't done it yet. Maybe it wouldn't work.
I guess it just comes down to being able to get people to watch.
I'll be transparent. I don't really watch any of the new Disney remakes. So like I couldn't really comment on if they're good or bad. But I will say that they're doing something wrong because I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not making me want
The
to
thing
watch
is, I feel the same way, and I've watched all the old ones. And if they made a live action Finding Nemo, I would never watch it because that's my favorite Disney movie. Could you imagine Bruce, man? Like, could you imagine this?
Just like fucking fish. It's like,
I don't think they'll ever remake a 3D movie, because if they did, I'd call them actual morons for doing that.
That is a Pixar one.
live
Yeah, that's
action
true.
Finding Nemo and there's just goldfish.
No, they're clownfish, man.
Yeah, yeah. You get the clownfish. The Babama Bee. Finding Nemo is my favorite movie, dude. I have Finding Nemo stuffed animals on my bed.
That's awesome.
Pete and I are lying in bed.
Go for it.
Sorry.
You have to leave?
Oh my god,
It's
I do.
45.
Yes, I do.
What time do you have to leave exactly?
Like, probably now, exactly.
I guess we'll
understand.
just end it now.
It's been a pleasure, guys. It really has. I'm really sad that this has ended. Can we do this again sometime?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
part one.
sure thing. We can do it next week or whenever, after college or whatever.
It's a, yeah, or, whatever. Like, it's like, what, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
That's
whenever
cool. That's
all of us
cool.
are free.
Bro,
That's cool. That'd be cool.
it's a part one. It's a part
huh?
one. It's a part one.
It's a
Are we gonna do it in part one? Part one.
I'm game. I hope I'm gonna try and make this happen soon. This is fun. I have some things I need to get off my chest next time.
Everyone always does.
If that's cool.
That's good though. It means we always keep it back.
Yeah, whenever you're free, whenever Pete's free, and whenever I'm free, which should be most of the time. Yeah, we can have a part two.
All right,
Okay.
sick.
In that case, Robby, it was an absolute pleasure to have you.
No, it was
We're
mine.
sorry. We're sorry to end it abruptly, but we're all busy becoming millionaires at the moment, so you have to, excuse us. But we will be back. This is merely a part one of this lovely Robby adventure. With all that being said, it was lovely to have you on the show, Robby. And do you want to shout out your little podcast?
Any projects you want to
Oh,
plug?
wow.
Any of it?
First, I just want to say thank you for having me on. Okay, because this has been fun, and I love the show. Long time listener, first time caller. And thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure. I do a podcast too. It's called The Most Interesting 5 Minutes of Your Day. And you can find it actually on the same platforms that you guys are on, because Pete's the one that helped me set it up. It's only 5 minutes long, and we do 5 1-minute long segments every episode. It's fast paced.
I have to say, it is extremely interesting.
It's
Like-
really well edited too.
like,
We're
really,
pretty
really
good at
interesting.
editing, I'd say,
Yeah.
but he takes it to the next level.
Stop it.
So with all that being said,
Any
You're too
socials?
kind.
Any socials you want to plug? Anything?
When the cuck, remember? I already did it with. I already. It's all there.
it's all there.
You can find. Just Google my name, Robby Saligman. Oh, it'll probably show up,
Oh, beautiful.
right?
Okay.
And then followed by whatever, like Instagram
Whatever platform.
or whatever you want to do.
And do you have one last message to our listeners?
Stay positive, guys.
Lovely. Stay positive, everyone, and have a good evening.
That was awesome.